A total of 183 Senate vets filed their certificates of candidacy for the 2025 elections. Among those seeking a seat in the Senate is musician and lawyer Jimmy Bondoc, who will be running under PDPLaban. And he joins us now live in the studio. Good evening, attorney. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here. You know, I was just watching some of your promo ads, and I must say you have a beautiful show, and it's very comprehensive. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Sabihin ko pa lang nga, attorney, election na talaga.
Let me be the one to start this conversation. But just, you know, to on the lighter side before we get into your candidacy. We've always known you as Jimmy Bondoc, the singer. And now you're a lawyer. Tell us all about that. What made you decide to study law? And have you always wanted to go into politics?
Well, you know, the short answer is my whole life talagang dalawa yung dalawa yung puso ko ay ika nga. One has always been more towards the medyo academe na side. I'm from the Ateneo. I was always in the honors class. I hope that's not pompous.
A-boy daw to, A-boy.
Well, yes, but you know, it doesn't. Well, anyway. But I've always been an artist also. I was in theater and all that. But I was always the class president and all that. So, naglalaban yan. Naglalaban talaga yan. Hanggang sa pag-graduate ko, naglalaban yan. Papasok na ba ako sa trabaho? O kakanta na ba ako? But it was always slightly leaning towards the arts.
But did you take up law because you knew there was a possibility of you running for office?
No.
Can I interject? Because I saw actually an interview. After you passed the bar, there was an interview from ABSCBN, I think. And you said that because you had been appointed to PAGCOR and you served there under different positions, I believe, under the Duterte administration, it opened your eyes and it made you want to go into public service. Can you tell us about that direction, kumbaga, ng iyong career?
Opo. Alam niyo po kasi when you enter real public service, yung plantilla, no? Kasi later na lang ako naging director eh. But I was really a, kumbaga, working man. No? Utusan talaga ako doon. You will see that government really runs on laws. As in, it really runs on laws. Procurement, for example, and all that. And somewhere along the way, I was really just challenged to be better, to do better. Kasi parang feeling ko, hindi nag-a-apply dito yung mga natutunan ko sa pribadong sektor. I mean, the normal logic that you think would apply, like being efficient, you know, SWOT analysis and all that. Optimizing and all that, streamlining, yeah, of course, all fantastic ideas. Pero once you're confronted with the laws, biglang, uy, bawal pala yun. And I just didn't want that impeding my intentions of being of service.
Sorry, we're short on time, so I'm going to go straight into the hard questions. Bring up now the fact that you've been on the board of PAGCOR since September 2021, which means you were there during the heyday of the Pogos, right? So,
yes. Actually, at that time, yun yung medyo heavily challenged na yung Pogos at that time.
But at that time, also, President Duterte was still defending Pogos. In fact, we remember a quote from him wherein he said, hindi naman masama, so might as well tax them. Now that all of these issues with Pogos have come to light, do you regret supporting Pogos? Because sitting on the board of PAGCOR, you had the power to do something then, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. Kasi alam nyo yung Pogo, as I was saying in my Comelec interview, I'll say the same thing, masalimuot talaga yan. And you can't just polarize it parang either it's evil or it's not. It really depends on the climate, no? Yung sitwasyon. Will it favor the country to allow this now or not? And that's an executive and legislative prerogative talaga, no? You know, the quick answer is, meron talagang sitwasyon na mas magandang pairalin yan because una sa lahat, ang pera na umiiral dyan na yung nagsusugal are foreign. Hindi yan dito nangyayari. Sa kabilang banda naman, nagkakaroon ng social friction because ini-import natin yung mga call center, ika nga. So, you balance that, no? Sulit ba yung kinita natin? Because a lot of the contributions of PAGCOR to the social fund at that time really came from Pogos. It kind of really helped save us, no? Pero ngayon, sa klima ngayon, walang pandemic, hindi kailangan ng mga sobrang ganong klaseng kita, maybe they saw it wiser to not operate it. Personally, and I will not evade, I'll give you my personal opinion. Personally sa akin, kung maayos yung patakbo niyan, it's very powerful. Just make sure that walang nagsusugal dito sa Pilipinas, tsaka walang social friction, meaning maybe we can isolate them in good communities.
But that's not the plain issue here. There's also
All the criminal
crimes, all the
activities
crimes
linked to them.
Prostitution, the
done
torture.
inside those
Human
Pogo hubs.
trafficking.
And also the threats to national security.
Yes.
Nasabi nyo noon sa isang statement na wala naman kayong report ng espionage, but ngayon nakikita natin sa hearings na mayroon tayong kaso na ni Alice Go, meron tayong Cassandra Ong, and all the linkages from the Pogos to these criminal syndicates.
My question to you guys in earnest is, whether these are regulated or not, do you think these crimes would persist? That's my question, no? And it's a real question. I think dapat aralin siguro ng Nika or something. Kasi nga, hindi natin alam kung mas lumalala pa siya pag hindi regulated. Because it's there. Pardon the word na, for example, porn. No? Very, ano yan, no? We can't even stop porn. No? Pero it's there. No, am I saying we should regulate it? Ang hirap. May mga simbahan issues, morality issues.
But it's not a criminal activity.
Well, yeah, but its effects are the same, no? It erodes society.
You having a purview of, from PAGCOR, do you think this administration will be able to stamp out, ban Pogos completely? Or will they just, probably fall
Be
under
illegal,
a different
yeah.
name? Or will they reappear in some other...
It really depends on political will, and alam nyo, kaya naman i-stamp out kahit ano kung tutukan talaga eh. But they have so many other things to focus on. And the internet is so pervasive. Kaya ba talaga natin itigil ang isang bagay lamang sa internet? I'm not sure. But that doesn't mean I'm saying na, sige, illegal, gawin nyo na lang legal, i-regulate na lang natin. Hindi ko rin naman sinasabi yun. Like I said, it's a very executive and legislative prerogative. But they have to weigh everything. Pero kung magiging perfect ba yan? Never, right? Never, because it's just there. The internet is just there.
Attorney, why the Senate? A lot of celebrities, influencers, artists who try their hand at politics usually go for a lesser role. Why the Senate agad?
Many reasons, but the first was, ang una talaga niyan, magpa-party list dapat ako. I do have a party, it's a legitimate party. It's called Boses. It's for entablado at sining, yun yung ES doon sa Boses. But when I was confronted with the former president, tinanong niya, saan ka tatakbo? Sabi ko, party list po. Hindi, pero anong gusto mo? Saan mo talaga gusto? Sa Senate po. I mean, I had to be, parang he reached into my brain and asked me for an earnest answer.
When was that? I'm curious because I was just thinking
months
kung ano yung
ago.
process. Diba? Before ka nag-file ng COC for Senate na.
Yeah, a few months ago.
A few months ago.
I was in Davao. Sabi ko, ano yung gusto mo? Sabi ko, sa Senate po. And it's true. But also, I think, I know my chances, hindi ako ilusyonado na tao. But if there were a house that I would have a better chance of getting into, I think it's the Senate. It requires more votes, but it's not a single vote. Plus, nagsisiksika na sa party list. I really don't think, marami na
Next
step
question,
doon eh.
Attorney. Bakit PDPLaban?
Oh, yeah.
Dadagdag ko doon, sinabi mo gusto mong patibayin ang best of the best Duterte principles.
Yes.
Which are?
Well, anti-corruption is really a big thing for me. Marami po tayong kritisismo laban sa dating Pangulo. But yung anti-corruption stance niya was very evident and very felt sa aming mga nasa ahensya. Sa labas po, alam ko naman, yung balita, alam ko naman lahat ng mga pinag-uusapan sa balita. Pero kasi nandun ako no? Nandun ako at I was also at the top position ng direktor ako ng isang nagre-regula ng sugal. No? At ni minsan po, walang hiningi sa amin na alanganin yung Pangulo. And that is first-hand knowledge. Ako yun eh. Hindi ko yun kayang, I cannot make you believe that. I cannot make your viewers believe that. But I believe that. Walang hiningi sa amin, walang alanganin, hindi kami nakasuhan. We were able to get our clearances from the Ombudsman very quickly.
But what about his drug war? Do you also align with his principles in the drug war?
Well, yes. The short answer is yes. It wasn't perfect because there are always the scalawags and all that. And again, I know it's a long, protracted discussion. But yes. And I think the surveys also show that the Philippines really needed that kind of strong hand. No? Now, controversial, yes, absolutely. Pero again, first hand tayo pumunta. No? Sa neighborhood namin, nawala talaga eh. Yung mga buwisit. No? Kasi buwisit talaga eh. That's
Saan
the
po ba
word
kayo?
for it eh.
Saan po ba kayo?
Sa Cubao po ako. And now, to be quite frank, some of them are back. No? So, you know, these are real things.
Because
No?
a lot
So it
of
was,
people, Jimmy,
so
would say that it's maybe not the most popular choice for your maiden run for the Senate to join PDPLaban.
But so it was, so I'll ask the question straight now. There's speculation that you were asked to run for under PDPLaban, specifically because they need the numbers in Senate, with the specter of impeachment hanging over Vice President Sara. Is there any truth to that?
There have been absolutely no talks about that. If those are their intentions, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a political matter. I don't think it's illegal. But wala pong ganong usapan. Walang, it was more of me expressing, saan mo ba gusto? Sinagot ko sa Senate po.
Did you consider joining another party, or was this the only option for you?
No. This was, the only option was this, or of course to go independent. But my friendship with Dutertes are not as deep as people think. Oh no, it's very deep, but it's not politically deep. No, it's personally. We have a kinship. No,
How
and we
did
have
you end
shared-
up becoming friends on the personal level?
It was that song.
Because
I wrote a song, which is why, you know, siguro po kung mangyari po yung hindi ka panipaniwala na ako'y makapasok sa Senado, it would be such a great story, to be honest. Just because I really started with a belief na sabi ko, okay, itong taon to, susuportahan ko to. Gumawa ako ng kanta, nahanap nila ako, nilipad nila ako sa Davao, naging magkaibigan kami, binago ko yung buhay ko, at ngayon, kung makapasok man ako, it would be, what an upset, right? But I'm not doing it for that. It's just that the artist in me sees that as a great story.
So to be clear, it was former President Duterte who asked you to run under PDPLaban, just to set the record straight.
No, he asked me what I wanted. And I said, gusto ko po mag-Senate
Okay.
under PDP.
Attorney,
And
so
it was more of him acceding to it.
So at what point did you join PDP?
Oh, when they announced it, about a week before that. It was quick, kasi alam niyo naman sila, kung minsan medyo...
Kaya nga, so 1 week before they announced it was the time that you joined PDP. So you're a very new member.
No, I had been a member. I had been a member, but not
But to be on the slate.
to be on slate.
Attorney, pardon me, but I have to ask this, and I know this is an issue that has long passed. In 2016, 2020, nag-post kayo, sabi nyo, about ABS-CBN. I'm so excited to see the biggest TV network close down. This company is a snake pit, where success is based on politics and sexual favor. I'm eagerly awaiting your demise. I know how this sounds, etc., etc. We spoke against or for the shutdown of the ABS-CBN network. And, 3 years later, 4 years later, seeing everything happening, even with SMNI, do you still stand for that statement, for what you said back in 2020?
I'm honest enough to admit that those words were strongly worded, that post was strongly worded because of personal reasons that I would, if you would allow me to not say.
So
But-
a bad experience, basically.
Bad experience.
Personal
yes.
bad experience.
Yes.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I was aware of what that statement would do, that it would bring light onto something that at that time was, iniquitous. Pero, now I'm just glad to hear that they're doing better. Tas yung mga nawala ng trabaho, may mga trabaho na. And I'm not a monster, no? I did not want jobs lost or whatever. It's just that I want everyone to follow the rules. Everyone should follow the rules.
What rule do you think they broke?
Well, again, those are the personal things that I
But
was
was
saying.
it wasn't that also politically motivated? I mean, what happened to ABS-CBN? What is happening now to SMNI? Doesn't Congress have too much power over, the granting of franchises? In this instance, it can be. I mean, on one end, it can probably bring justice. On the other hand, it can be abused. The power could be abused.
Yeah. Well, let's go legal, no? Because franchise is a franchise. It's a grant. It's the prerogative of the legislature. So you can't question it. It's not a contract. That's what they teach in law school. Magkaiba naman yan. Walang breach of franchise, may breach of contract. So kung yun ang gusto ng legislatura, then okay. No? But as far as
Doesn't that send a precedent? Isn't that a precedent for the same thing to happen to other networks? Na pag hindi nagustuhan ng administrasyon o nakaupo, yung sinasabi mo, i-shut down na lang natin yan.
Well, that's a franchise, but that's not the only way to express your views, especially in this digital age, right? In fact, some people do better online than on the diminishing airwave power, no? So para sa akin, hindi rin. But final point is, I think this is the reason why we should really choose our elected officials well. Diba? Kasi talagang piliin natin kung sino yung bibigyan nyo ng kapangyarihan na mamigay ng prangkisa.
And what platform are you strongly running on? Top 3?
I've always been anti-corruption. I think it should be institutionalized. Kasi marami nalilito sa word na institutionalized, no? But kasi yung mga anti-corruption natin ng mga commission are by executive order.
Right.
Kailangan Republic Act. Gumawa tayo ng independent talaga.
All lawmakers, I mean, that's a mouthful. All lawmakers, before they get elected, all say they're anti-corruption anyway, right? They all say they're anti-poor. But let's tweak the question a little bit. You're a lawyer now. What are your top legislative priority in Senate once you get?
Yeah, that's one, because I think there has to be a body.
What law specifically?
Yeah, there has to be a body, creation of a body through a Republic Act, hindi lang executive order, that cannot be instantly basta repealed ng by any batch kasi every 3 years nagbabago yan, ano? It should have fiscal autonomy para talaga nakakapag-imbestiga siya. Yung PACC, magaling yon, pero pwedeng hindi sila mag-appoint doon, hindi nagagana yon. Tapos it's merely recommendatory. Ito, dapat prosecutorial talaga, na kaya, talagang batas talaga. Na mahirap basta-basta i-repeal kasi may fiscal autonomy. That's number one.
Okay.
No?
Second bill?
Second, well, if I were to choose, I have very specific proposals sa health. Marami nang nagte-take care sa health. Pero ako particularly, yung hospital detention. Kasi meron talaga mga nakukulong dahil di makapagbayad. And there is...
So you're gonna repeal that?
No, actually amend it. RA 9439, there's something really unconstitutional with it. Pero iso-surprise ko nila sila. I don't want them to see me coming.
Okay.
And the third is for music.
What about music?
Well, generally encourage treaties talaga so that we can use, everyone uses the K-pop analogy, right? But totoo yun eh. Totoo yun eh. It's really government-backed. And we can really use it.
It needs to be legislated, the music?
Yes, absolutely.
You can legislate that? I mean, what kind of treaties?
Para malaanan ng pondo?
No, you can laanan ng pondo and to create a commission. I know there's NCCA and all that, but I think the musikero community is unique. It has its own power, its own needs. No?
Okay.
So, ganun po.